It is 6 o'clock in the morning, and we're talking Coyotes Kings. Let's do it.
You're Locked On Coyotes, your daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to the show, everybody. This is Locked On Coyotes, your number one daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes. Today's episode brought to you by Sleeper. Download the Sleeper app. Use the promo code Locked On NHL to get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper terms of use for details. I'm your host, Robyn Leonio, alongside Matthew Jacobson. We want to thank everyone for making this show your first listen every day. We're free to be able everywhere you get your podcast. And Matthew Jacobson.
It would have been funny if you started this one off pronouncing it with the Y, but I'll take Jacob. Jacob's funnier. I'll take this. We're having fun on the show.
Like Matthew said, it's 6 in the morning. At least you said 6 o'clock in the morning this time, rather than on your Twitter post. I think a week ago you said it's 3 a.m. in the morning.
It's a reference to an Eminem song. So I'm like, it's 3 a.m. in the morning.
It's like that's a little double thing there, but okay.
Well, it's like saying ATM machine. Like the M means machine, or saying PIN number. The N is number.
Exactly. Or to all the Arizonans out there, and I mean, again, I make the mistake too. I do this all the time. Monsoon season. Monsoon means season.
You see, I thought you were gonna say Prescott, and I love saying Prescott to see everyone's reactions to it, because why would you spell it that way if you want it to be pronounced differently? Spell it the right way.
That too. There's a lot of things we can know.
You know, for someone that can't read, I pronounce things pretty phonetically.
It's
Even
funny.
though I can't read.
It's funny. I have there's like, I've had Hispanic people that I know, like Hispanic friends who they will also say Tucson is Tucson.
I always call it Tucson. People look at me weird. That's how I learned how to spell it, because I thought the S came before the C. So when I started saying Tucson, I started learning how to spell it properly.
Exactly. Well, anyways, we got a great show on today's episode. As hopefully we wake up in time. We're gonna talk about the Coyotes versus Kings. I'm with you right there. The Arizona Coyotes play the LA Kings tonight. We're gonna go a little bit in depth on that in just a little bit, but we're gonna kind of touch over some of the things we might have missed over the last few days. Because as we've been off a little bit longer, I think an extra day, because I was moving, Matt. As you can tell, I no longer have my other studio. I'm now in a new studio. So,
see, Robyn was moving, and I elected to finally turn on my airplane over here and play Baldur's Gate 3, because I wanted to finally not have to work every second of the day.
I mean, that's good, to actually give yourself a break every now and then. I need that soon, eventually.
Well, I'm going on vacation next week, so you're gonna have like double the work when I'm gone. I'll be riding a roller coaster.
I have some friends coming on. I got some friends.
You see, Robyn, like, she asked me specifically what dates I'm gone, because she wanted to make sure she had like people lined up, because she's not gonna sit there and talk to the boy. She's not like me. I can just talk to the boy for.
I mean, I can, but I mean, because I started this show when I first took over from freaking January until September. I was technically a solo host of 2021.
Yeah, but then whenever Carl was leaving, you refused to do it again. You ain't going back to that life.
Because it made it easier.
Oh, anyways, I'm glad I'm on the show to make things easier for you. But we got injuries to talk about today.
Let's talk about injuries. The Arizona Coyotes hit a major injury bug, Matthew, and it's not fun. It's not fun when you go through a major injury bug like that, because
Can I say something controversial?
Let's hear it.
This is very fun. The 2018-19 Coyotes are back, and they will make the playoffs next year. Wait, I need to map it out. I need to actually map out from the year they started 0-11-1 to making the playoffs. I think I could be a year off. All right, I have to actually fact check this. I think we're in cycles right now, where the team starts off 0-11-1, comes back, makes a decent season, somewhat decent season for the start. Disappointing injury riddled season, and then playoffs. I think we are literally on the same timeline right now.
All right, I'm looking at Puckpedia right now to kind of get a rundown of all the injuries. And Puckpedia also has actually their expected return. Again, the website could be wrong and they could be later. So I'm just saying to kind of give you an idea where they might think it might return, and we can also give our thoughts too. Barrett Hayton with a upper body injury.
That one was reported like 4 to 6 weeks. He's going to be out like a month. Because Craig Morgan reported that one. He said the team told him it was.
Considered week to week.
Mm-hmm. Jack McBain still week to week.
Jack McBain is, it doesn't say week to week yet on he's on the IR, so that does mean week. That generally does mean week to week. The same thing can be said. I mean, Dermott's been out for a little bit, so maybe he could be back this week.
IR, you put him on there to essentially like give yourself the extra roster spot, but they have to be out a certain amount of time, right? When you actually put them on IR, so it's not a day-to-day thing.
Yeah,
this sucks. It's McBain, Hayton, Dermott are the ones that are on IR, but they also Valimaki. Michelli, he didn't miss any time, and he scored a goal, so he'll be fine. His smile is going to be messed up for a while, but Matthias Michelli is fine.
See, because Michelli didn't take as hard of a hit to the puck as Valimaki did.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. Valimaki took a freaking massive, like a freaking slapper to the mouth, and had to get like mouth surgery.
Yeah, like it was a jaw thing, and he stayed in Dallas like one extra a day, and then went back home to recover. I would imagine since they never put him on IR, that's still going to be a shorter term thing. But we're talking about shorter term in the context of McBain's out, around a month. Hayton's out a month and a half.
It would be interesting because the last time I remember seeing something that like a little bit extra happen like this in terms of like that bad. If you remember Logan Couture and the Sharks, he had a similar thing happen to him. He came back like a few days later with like, not only did he come back with a full cage, I expect Valimaki probably to do the same thing, but also had like freaking braces on to kind of help, realign the jaw and everything and kind of make sure all the mouth was fine.
Remember when Jeremy Roenick broke his jaw and they like wired it shut?
Yeah.
For the playoffs?
Exactly. They freaking wired it shut. Like, so expect maybe to see some shit like that happen. And we'll see.
All I'm saying is hockey players are built different and some of y'all are insane. But yeah, so the Coyotes caught the injury bug, and that's why I bring back up 2018-19, because that was such an injury-riddled season throughout the entirety of it. Now
that was a fun year though. They had some good runs that year.
At least the goaltending hasn't been affected. At least the goaltending hasn't been affected by this. Like we had Ronta, Kemps, and then Aiden Hill gets his first chance and then gets blown up after getting started way too many games in a row because our coach loved overworking one goalie at a time.
But speaking of which, I saw that I think the other guys are also saying that we might not be too far away from actually getting a true starter in goal.
Oh, right now I've been on this train for a while.
I know. No, you and I have been agreeing. Like you and I have talked about this for the last week or two. We're saying, hey, at what point do you just give Connor Ingram the starter job,
and bring in a legitimate backup so that way, like you're not hung out to dry if an injury or something happens, and also you have a competent goalie. But like, not saying Pamelka isn't, but Pamelka once again, we're seeing some inconsistencies. We'll get to that in the next segment. We have to take a break. but we're setting you up for it. We're setting up for goaltending talk in the second act.
Absolutely. We'll get to that right after this.
Today's episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guarantee Fit only available for U.S. customers.
Thanks again, everyone, for making Locked On Coyotes your first listen every day. For your second listen, be sure to check out Locked On Sports Today national YouTube channel, because right now that you are able to take a look at their YouTube channel. They have got 24/7 streaming channel. That's right, guys, to 24/7 streaming channel to pay attention to Locked On, all of Locked On Sports, not just Locked On Coyotes, but anything, Locked On NHL, Locked On Atlanta, whatever you want to find, they got it on Locked On Sports Today. Their 24/7 streaming channel. But let's continue as we get ready for the Coyotes.
Cut it real quick, please. Cut real quick. They don't have Locked On Thrashers, so I'm a little upsetty spaghetti about that. We need to get a Locked On Thrashers show.
Oh yeah, no, we need to advocate for that.
Well, let's do it. I think we should. I think we should start Locked On Thrashers, but only do it whenever the Coyotes play the Jets.
There we go. I love that. Anyways, let's keep going. Coyotes versus the Kings tonight. Really briefly, let us talk, because we did miss the win over Columbus and the loss to Winnipeg.
The Thrashers.
Yes.
They got thrashed again.
It's annoying because it looked like that for the first half of the game that they were going to be in it, and then all of a sudden they just blew it. And I'm like, yeah, this sounds about right. I mean, Winnipeg is a better team this year. They are the better team in the division. I think that's goes without saying. I think they're like third or fourth. The Coyotes are like fifth in the division, but
Logan Cooley got a second goal against Columbus, and they won that 3-2. So the Coyotes still come out of this road trip technically winners, because they're 2-1, like the definition of mediocrity. And they pushed that Dallas game to overtime. I didn't even bother to watch that because it's Dallas. They pushed it to overtime. You got to give them a lot of credit there.
Oh yeah, no, that Dallas game in overtime. That was huge, right? That was huge to be able to make it be able to do that. The win over Columbus, I think, was no surprise, mainly because Columbus is not a good team.
They're actually worse than I thought they were. I was trying to be respectful and say, they have a couple pieces now. That team is garbo. They're almost as bad as San Jose right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jay. You're a good friend of mine, Jay Forrester, the host of Locked On Blue Jackets. Good guy, but your team sucks.
But you come out of this road trip, and I want to get back to goaltending, because I am going to get back on my soapbox. I am going to get back on my AZ Sports guy is always right. And I'm going to get right back on so when's Connor Ingram getting the starting job? Because let's take a look at the numbers. Vejmelka right now is 10 games played. Remember, he came in relief for Ingram one of those games, so he's technically going to have the extra game over Ingram. Record 2-6-2. And they're alternating, so it's not Veggie is getting all of the tougher matchups, though he has got some tough matchups. He's not getting the easy games. No such thing as the easy game in the NHL. But 2-6-2 is a little concerning. A 3-18 goals against, and yes, there are injuries happening to the defense right now. The defense is not playing quite as well as you would like, but it's still improved from last year. I still expect to see a little better numbers. And also goaltender 10 the goal. We're seeing a little Mike Smith stuff happening in the last game because just goes out and then I can't actually play this puck. Goes back into his crease and it gets knocked in off of him. Love when you see that. But he is still maintaining a 901 save percentage. That is at least okay. But Connor Ingram, 8 games, 6-1-0, because he had the one game he got blown up, 275, 918. Right now, we're almost 20 games in. We're a couple games shy. One goaltender is legitimately head and shoulders above the other, not only converting more wins, but also the save percentage is 17 points higher. I think Connor Ingram, I already said I thought he was the more talented goaltender. I don't regret saying that. That just kind of made me look a little smart. I think he won the net, and I think it's time to explore a Vejmelka trade, because if you can get a decent backup and just kind of commit to Ingram, you also might get an extra asset you could use in that trade.
A decent backup for the short term until Villalta is ready to come up.
Villalta, if you think he can translate it to the NHL, right now he's doing really well at the AHL level, and that's what he was brought in for. Or Anson Thornton when he develops.
I mean, we've seen that happen enough, right? I mean, like, let's take a look at Aiden Hill, right?
True.
Aiden Hill was phenomenal in the AHL, and we're wondering, can he translate? And then because he took a couple stints, the first couple weren't great, but then one time when in that year that you were talking about, that 18-19, when everyone was getting injured, both goalies. So Aiden Hill got called up, and he had a fantastic run. I'm not saying we should, that's gonna end up being how Villalta or Thornton get their chance, but I feel like that if you trust them enough, that might be the opportunity.
I think it, because Villalta, I just want to reiterate it, was brought in as that backup for Ivan Prosvetov. He's playing very well. The AHL team is also becoming decimated by call-ups because of all the injuries on the Coyotes.
Yep, nothing new there.
Nope.
It's been the same thing every year for the last 5 years.
Absolutely love it. But it's my brain, and it could be different internally, but my brain is Villalta AHL. Thornton, he's getting his starts he's getting a couple starts in the AHL, kind of developing him along. He's nowhere near NHL ready yet. So if you were to move on from Vejmelka, you get. I'm trying to think of a backup. You get. Is Nedeljkovic still a decent backup, or did he fall off? I'm trying to think of names here. But you get a decent backup.
Hey, you just see Nedeljkovic became the second. Oh, I think the second or first. I think it was second. The second AHL goalie to score not one but 2 goals.
There's a lot of hype for him, but like a Brossoit type, that type of backup goaltender, someone that has a year or 2 on their contract. You bring him in, that gives you a decent backup. And if you're looking to move him, you go to a team that desperately needs goaltending. So maybe you'd need either a 3-team trade or 2 moves in the same day type thing. But you could probably get a decent backup goaltender relatively cheap. Move on from Vejmelka. Maybe that team that's desperate for a goaltender, maybe they give you an asset they probably shouldn't. They're not getting a first or anything.
You mean be like the team, a team that tricks a team into taking a trade, and then they flip that team straight back to another team.
Oh, are we talking about the Sharks again? We talk about the Sharks way too often on this.
I love it's funny how you recognize that without even me. I was just making it a generic comment, and you assumed
that was totally Mike Hoffman. And then they had trade protections on Erik Karlsson, so they wouldn't do the same thing with Erik Karlsson.
That's true. That did happen. It was hilarious. I love that.
Same 2 teams, by the way. It's the same 2 teams that made the trade: the Ottawa Senators and the San Jose Sharks.
It's like they didn't learn a lesson. But anyways, anything else we should touch on before we head to our preview for the Kings?
Start exploring the trade market. I know a lot of Coyotes fans get attached to certain players. You run the 1A, 1B system like this until you find your definitive starter. Then you just get a capable backup So you got a team like Edmonton that can use a goalie. You got a couple other teams. Take advantage of that. Get an asset you probably shouldn't have got in return for a Karel Vejmelka, and then flip like a mid-round pick for like a Brossoit type.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to continue this conversation in a little bit. We're going to talk about the Arizona Coyotes versus the Los Angeles Kings, what to expect in tonight's game, and finish things up as well. We'll get to that right after this. And today's episode is brought to you by Sleeper. A new NHL season brings all sorts of possibilities. Clayton Keller can score 50 goals. The Arizona Coyotes could make the playoffs this year. And you can win big by playing daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper, the official daily fantasy app of Locked On NHL Network. Sleeper is our number one choice for daily fantasy sports, and especially daily fantasy hockey, because with Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contests. Once again, you can pick whatever players you want to take to win 100 times your money. You can play alongside your friends. And it's not just with hockey. You can do NFL, NBA, MLB, college football, all talking in a group, in a team chat functionality, connecting with other fans. Entries can be made in under a minute. All you have to do is pick whether or not studs like, let's say, Connor McDavid, or heck, let's see, even here on the Coyotes, Logan Cooley will record more or less than their Sleeper projections for things like goals, assists, saves, plus, minus, and more. To win a $100 bet on Sleeper, you need to correctly predict the outcome of 8 player stats. You heard me, Coyotes fans. You can win 100 times your money playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper. So start paying attention and nail your picks so you can start winning big. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL and you get out to $100 a match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. Once again, that's Locked On NHL. Sleeper C. Sleeper terms of use for details and locational availability. Once again, thanks for making this your first listen. Heads up, everyone, you can listen to tonight's game on the Sirius XM app. All you gotta do is just if you're a Sirius XM subscriber, open your app and search up Coyotes. You'll be able to listen to the Coyotes' hometown play-by-play broadcast no matter where you are in the world. That's what I love about Sirius XM. It's available, everywhere. Let's finish off on today's episode. Coyotes versus Kings. First of all, I want to get this out of the way. Officially changing TV channels, Matthew. Going back to channel 61. Which is now making it available to everyone. So DirecTV customers, you could stop complaining.
I was trying to watch on 61 on Dish and they weren't on the other day. Anyway, let's do a preview.
It's because it's happening today. This change is happening today.
Well, I mean, I would have liked it to happen before. Anyway, so
let's get to the preview. First, so initial thoughts before we get to your 3 keys and then picks of the game.
All right. Let's do my patented team stats real quick. The Arizona Coyotes power play is still elite. They're top 5 in the league, whereas LA's is good, but they're 15th. Coyotes take advantage of the power play. Keep doing it. Anyway, penalty kill.
Power play's been good, so yeah, do that.
But they have to take advantage of their good power play because the penalty kill they're going up against is at 89.1%. Second in the NHL, and the Coyotes is abysmal at 77%, 21st in the NHL. Goals for per game, the Coyotes goals for keeps going down. It's 3.24, 16th in the league, whereas the Kings are 3.94. It's second in the league. If my math is correct, Ingram's getting the start tonight, and he's going to have one hell of a time tonight trying to stop all of the shots, because it's probably going to be like a 40-shot night. Goals against Coyotes 3.12, so they still have a solid goals against per game, but the Kings is 2.63. Their starting goaltender Cam Talbot, a 9-3-1 record, 202 goals against, 930 save percentage. Did anyone expect that out of the elderly Cam Talbot? I didn't have that on my bingo card. I didn't have that on what's going to happen this year. So
I tend to forget that Cam Talbot is even on the Kings. Like, I was like, where is he now?
Give me Phoenix Copley. He's 1-0-2, 4.58, 9.72. Give me Phoenix Copley tonight.
I remember what happened. I think, what was it? the Pride Night game, right? Phoenix promptly started the game, and then the Coyotes scored like 4 unanswered or whatever it was, and then they're like, yeah, no, Phoenix, you're done, and then they put in Talbot, and then the Kings come back.
God, I hate how he spells his name.
I know, right? Like I totally was thrown off that first time someone spelled it that way. I'm like, it's like, check your spelling, and they're like, check your notes, and I'm like, oh, that's what you're doing.
I hate.
That's
you know what? He's also 31 now. You're old. You're done, bud. I say that like I'm not almost 30.
Let's not get to that point yet, Matthew. It's not. I don't want to think about that.
Think about it, Robyn. Your roaring 20s are almost over.
Meanwhile, I'm working with a bunch of kids. That's the thing. I'm working for kids who are like freaking, we call it like, in their early 20s or like late teens in my day job. And I'm like, you guys are all children. Like, I don't know why, like, at what point did it bring me? I know it was a side tangent really quick, but what point did it bring me to freaking start calling kids who were like 5 years younger than me, like kids? And I'm like, but
dog, I did construction for a very like large portion of my early years. From like 18 to 25, I was consistently the youngest person in like wherever I was working, or 24, and now I'm like old.
Yeah. I had someone legit tell me I was old at work, and I was like, wow.
That's funny and it hurts. Anyway,
I know, exactly. Anyways, really quickly, 3 keys, and now we'll move to the picks of the game.
Special teams. All right. The penalty kill has been borderline atrocious. It needs to get better. And you're going up against a team with a very good power play. Well, a good power play and a very good penalty kill. The Coyotes are going to need to rely on their strengths and solidify those weaknesses. So special teams has to be one key to the game. Second key to the game has to be you need to protect your goaltender a little bit. The Kings are a really good team, and the Coyotes tend to allow too many shots on net. What was it in Columbus? It was like 40. It was some ridiculously high number of shots against. Protect your goaltenders, and then third, if you get a lead, keep this one.
No, you're right. Absolutely, keep the lead. That's again, they have a hard time playing the lead. They seem to be I'm against, unless we're going against teams that are bad, like Columbus or Chicago, and otherwise that you don't need to worry too much.
Never take them lightly, because the Coyotes, if they lose,
you're right.
Chicago,
No, you're right. They never take them too lightly. Last thing you want is for them to lose to the Sharks.
Last thing you want is your high flying playoff team to lose to the Sharks.
Exactly. But so that's definitely so. Let's keep going. Let's hear what.
Those are my 3 keys: special teams, protect your goalie. What was my third one? Oh yeah, if you get a lead, keep it.
Oh yeah, special teams, protect the goalie, play with a lead.
Yes.
Or protect your lead. There we go.
Well, they gotta get the lead first. Yeah, step 1, get a lead. Step 2, protect the lead. The dogs are crying.
There you go. Anyways, that brings us to our final couple minutes here. Let us get to our picks of the game. Right here, the betting lines on FanDuel Sportsbook. If you're watching on YouTube, you can go ahead and see it. The Coyotes are underdogs at plus 130, with the Kings at minus 156. Total points 6.5. Also, it's a 1.5 on the spread, so no surprise there.
These two teams tend to score a lot against each other, but whenever I lean on the history, that's when you get a low-scoring game. But whenever I'm like, we're going to get a low-scoring game, we don't. So I'm just going to say 6-2 final. Coyotes blow them out of the water because they need to blow them out of the water. one more player gets injured, and Logan Cooley records exactly 1 assist.
Damn, that's very specific.
Yeah, if I don't know what I'm doing, I might as well be as specific as possible.
You're going you're going all in on the crazy, and I appreciate that. I'm still gonna say Coyotes win this one. I'm gonna give them not the money line. I don't feel like extremely confident, but I'm giving them the points. That way, kind of like it gives me some leeway, so they'll either win or they'll lose by 1. There kind of will be nothing more than that, and that kind of puts me at thinking about an over under. I'm gonna say over. Definitely be over 6.5. I'm gonna say this is gonna be for me. I'm gonna say I feel like a 4-3 final feels pretty good. So like right there. 4-3 Coyotes win. It's a home game, so they got to do it. You got to take advantage of the mullet magic.
But they also the Kings are up 2-0 on them. I think this is the last game because we only do 3 games against them now. They have to get at least 1 win against the Kings this year. That's why I'm like they kind of have to. So like, step on their throats and don't stop, kind of thing.
I'm with you there. Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I got. There you go.
Yeah, that's going to be it for today's episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast. If you like what you heard, don't forget to leave a review, like, comment, subscribe if you have yet to already. We're available everywhere you get your podcast, including on YouTube, the Sirius XM radio app, and ad-free on Amazon Music. Don't forget to interact with us on social media. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/LockedOnCoyotes, and on X at @LO_Coyotes. I'm personally at Robyn_Leano. That's Robyn with a Y _LEANO. Matthew Jacobson is at the AZ Sports Guy. Interact with us, ask a question you might have. We might answer right back or on a future episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast. Thanks again, everyone, for listening to today's episode. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. Hope you guys are staying healthy. And don't forget to howl on.